Good morning, MRT fam. For some of y'all, I was just here, and for others, you may not have caught my last live, which is just a few hours ago. I said that I was going to see if I wake up and see how I feel. I could have stood to stay in bed, honestly, and sleep some more, but the thing is, I did get myself up, and I was like, I am going to attempt to get into this show. Now, if y'all know anything about these shows, and you should have started to learn from me, is that if you don't get there by a certain time, like if it says check-in time is 7 to 8, if you get there like 7:40, 7:45, 7:50, you're pushing it, and it really depends on the popularity of the show, the day. I'm literally at this point just hoping that just the fact that it's raining out and that particular show, I'm not saying it's not popular, but there's certain shows, like if this was The View, I would not even be attempting to go, because I'm like, there's no possible way that if I was not in that line at least 1 hour before not before the taping, but 1 hour before the line closes, there's no way that I'm getting in. So in this case, I'm like, at least I have a chance, but a chance is a chance. It's also not a guarantee that I'm about to get into the Mark and Kelly show, but I'm gonna make an attempt. I'm gonna try, because the reason why is because yes, I could spend a day off just resting and doing nothing, but that's my weekends. That's what I do on the weekends. And I think I told y'all that I came to a realization that I don't spend enough time doing things that make me happy. And funny and strange enough, that I never thought this would be the case, but I actually enjoy going to daytime television shows. Like, there's a point in time when I just went to them because, hey, it's something to do. Daytime television show. It's almost like a race day to me. Not quite, because nothing is really as exciting for me as getting up in the morning and doing a race that I have prepared and trained for and everything like that. But what I mean by that is, the mornings that I am doing a race, I wake up in the morning knowing that I'm going to do something that feels purposeful and meaningful for me. So those days feel amazing. Like, I'm not getting up to do somebody else's thing that they want me to do, or I don't have errands to run or things on my agenda that are just check these things off the list. It's literally, I'm waking up, and the thing that I'm doing, the thing that I'm getting ready to go do first thing in the morning excites me. So the way that those shows became a comparable feeling for me is like, I don't really go a lot of places anymore. I used to have a lot of places to go. I have a closet full of sports coats and shirts and ties, and then I have like a bunch of my dad's stuff that was left behind, and I'm like, I don't have a reason or a place to put these things on for. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? So I remember actually what started getting me super into it, because I had gone to a few daytime television shows before. I think the first one I went to, I don't know if it was the first one, but I went to the Dr. Oz show with my mom. I went to the Wild 'N Out show. I went to the Chew. I think that was the one. I don't know if y'all know the Chew. But The Chew, I think, was the first daytime television show that I ever went to, and it was pretty fun. So I was like, this is cool. But when Nick Cannon came to New York City, and he had the Nick Cannon show for I don't know how long, a year, probably less than a year. I remember the thing that I liked was that when I went on the show, Nick would always look at my outfit. Nick would always walk through the crowd like 30 to 40 minutes prior to showtime. And then he would be like talking to people. He would give some people hugs. One thing he'd always do is he'd see me and then he'd be like, he wouldn't say Mark. I don't think that he knew my name, but he recognized my face and he'd be like, the blue jacket and the tan pants and whatever I was wearing. Be like, man, you're so fashionable. I like your sense of style. And then when I got into the shows, the other thing is, not every show, because I've learned that there's a couple of them that didn't do that. But I would say 90% of the shows that I went to, they'll position me somewhere in the front, and it's because they like the aesthetic. That's what I realized about where they place people sometimes during the show. And then they have the warm-up comedians that they have for the shows. The warm-up comedians are the people that tell jokes, and then they also give you the rules, and then they also give you the prompts. So what I mean by that is they're usually actually comedians. Sometimes they don't use comedians. Sometimes they just have energetic, funny people that do it. But the best is when they have actual local comedians that they hire for those things, because you basically get maybe like a 15-20 minute set before the show starts, and then they'll go around the audience, they'll make jokes. And I was always one of the people that they picked for their jokes. And I remember I had one of those comedians on my other channel, Music and Mental Health, Tom Kelly, who used to be the warm-up comedian for, what was that show? I think he was the warm-up comedian for Good Morning America, if I'm not mistaken. I think they don't do live crowds anymore, but I went to Good Morning America several times in 2018, 2019, and Tom Kelly was the warm-up comedian. And I remember speaking to him when I did my interview of him. He was like, you want to know the reason why they always pick you? And he was like, he said something to the effect of, if you see somebody who's poorly dressed and like looks like they don't have any money, something like that, and then he's just like, look at that bum, then people are gonna be like, this guy is an a-hole. Why is he picking on this man? But if you see somebody who's like good looking, sharply dressed, whatever, he said, that's the person. That's the one that you're gonna get the most laughs out of the crowd for. So that was the other thing. I always became a part of the warm-up comedians roast, and it was kind of funny, like I was entertained by that. It made me feel like I was a part of the show. And then it's cool to see yourself, even if it's only a few seconds. It's cool to see yourself like, hey, I'm on the TV, So that was what I started liking about going to these things. I would be meticulous about how I put my stuff together. This day I'm gonna wear this. Oh, and I forgot about the time period. I don't know how I could forget this, but the reason I went to so many was because there was a period of 3 years where I took family leave every single year for my dad, to take care of my dad. So it would be like my break from that. So for the majority of the week, the majority of my days, I was taking care of him, and then I would get to do this sometimes. The days that I didn't have to take care of him for the day, I would be out in the morning going to one of these things, and I'd come back in the afternoon, and then I would take care of my duties. But it was it became a part of my normalcy. Hi, Brian. You don't sleep, huh? It became a part of my normalcy. So we'll see if I get in today. I don't know. My GPS is telling me an ETA of 6:40. And I think they said they stopped letting people in for this one at 7:40, sorry. ETA of 7:40, and they stopped letting people in at 8. New York traffic is the worst, especially in the morning. I got up late. I woke up on time because I knew that in order to guarantee that I was going to make it there, I was probably going to have to leave my house at 5:45. And I did get up at 5:30. I laid in bed thinking about whether I was going to go or not. And I ultimately, obviously, decided to go. And then got ready really quick. Left my house about 6:25, which is about 18 minutes ago. I have still close to an hour drive, and sometimes traffic intensifies in the morning, especially in New York City. Yeah, so we got rain and we got cars. Rain and cars in New York City. So at best, I'm gonna get in there and sneak in there and get in there the last minute, be one of the last people they let in the studio. And at best, I'm going to, at worst, sorry, that's at best. At worst, I guess I'm just going to have a nice hour plus drive in traffic to get there and another hour plus drive to get back. But I suppose if I don't make it in, I'm just going to find something else to do. There's a million things to do in the city. So the only problem is it's so early. That's the one issue, is that it's so early. Ed doesn't sleep either. Morning, Ed. So it's not like the stores are gonna be open. I don't know. I'd probably go to a breakfast spot or something. Brian, did you see the news? Did you see the news that Leah and Cedric appear to be an item? I haven't really been following post Big Brother news that much, but things occasionally pop up on my timeline. Not on my timeline, but in my notifications, because I do follow some Big Brother stuff. And that one popped up on my timeline. That one popped up on my news feed yesterday. I take it that maybe I broke the news to you then. So I don't know. I haven't done my research just yet, but I just saw some tweets. I saw a video that she made where she was kind of gushing about him. I don't know if that was an official declaration. I saw a thing that said that Chelsea caught them making out at one of these Big Brother after parties, I think it was, and they've been keeping it in the tuck, apparently. No pun intended. There goes Operation BLT. I don't know. I don't know how serious that could be. I just don't know. Maybe they're serious, maybe they're not. I guess time will tell. That's what I say about all these people. You never know. Time will tell. But in my personal opinion, I don't know. It could be because they're young and they're having fun. But this to me almost reminds me a little bit of when Derek X ended up with Claire. When all season it seemed like Derek X was going to end up with Hannah. And all of a sudden they were like, oh, we always knew that we were compatible. And I was like, but what about when Julie asked Derek X after his interview, in his exit interview, what's happening with him and Hannah? And he was like, oh, Julie, expect the unexpected. And then we really got the unexpected, and she ended up with, he ended up with somebody that we didn't even really see him connecting with in the house. He scored well. Good for him. Guess good for him indeed. I'm all for people who end up in healthy relationships. I guess we've got 3 of them now. We got Cedric added 50 pounds. I guess she changed her standards. So we got Mackenzie and Matt letting the world know they're in a relationship. We already know about Tucker and a possible on Young Said. It's funny because I remember watching Cedric and Leah in the house, and Leah was acting like Ced was her little brother. So I didn't really see that chemistry. So that was surprising to me. When I saw that, I was like, you mean Quinn and Leah, right? Quinn and Leah, right? I don't know. Maybe Quinn and Leah was never ended up being a thing. I don't know. They could be. Bumpin' Uglies. Yeah, I guess it was never going to be Quinn and Leah. So I guess that's my breaking news. Oh, for those who are Challenge fans, I saw information that we only have one more episode before next year. So we have an episode of the challenge tonight. Then the following week, which is going to be the 18th, is going to be a preview of the challenge All-Star Season 5. The 25th is Christmas, so they're not going to have the show on Christmas. And then I suppose we're going to be back at it, January 2nd, I suppose. So I don't know about Survivor. Oh, I do know about Survivor. So Survivor is having their finale party. I guess Survivor, they said, is having a two-part finale, December 11 and December 18. So Survivor is having their Survivor party on the 18th, the one that Bryce and Wendell always throw. I would really like to go to that. The reason why I'm on the fence about going is because I'm like, why'd you raise the tickets for? Like, the tickets are, I looked up the tickets and I remember those always being, what, $30 tickets, and now they have more than doubled that. And it's funny because the tickets to most of these things that I go to are more than the tickets that they charge for their Survivor events. So I'm not even saying by comparison to other events that the Survivor events are so expensive, but I, for 2 to 3 years now, have been going to events that cost this much, and now you're more than doubling it. And I'm saying to myself, what is the reason for the ticket cost doubling? I'm like, you add in something? Probably not, because the Survivor ones don't work like challenge events and meet and greets and stuff like that. It's just a venue that you're going to, and they put the show on the TV, and then you just walk around and like mix and mingle. So I don't know. You might end up seeing me there. Last year though, I actually, now that I think about it, last year I did not go into the venue. I stopped by afterwards when the show was already done, and I got to meet a significant portion of the cast. So there's that. This year I don't think I would do that though. This year I would probably, if I go, I'm gonna participate in a whole watch party. What are these two cars doing? Do not have an accident right now. Oh no. Okay. Narrowly avoided. Because an accident would have meant I'm not getting to my destination. I guess the Leah tattoo has got to be removed now. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, the math can't stay the same all the time. The math cannot stay the same all the time. I actually consider that a steal, like a discount. I'm like, man, I'm paying $200 at this point to go to these challenge events. So I'm sitting here like $30 to go to a Survivor event where you meet. They usually have like, what, 30, at least 20 to 30 different cast members in the building. I think 20 to 30 is an understatement, actually, because they usually have the majority of the cast from that present season, and then they have 15 to 20 other castmates from other seasons that show up. And they have quite a few people that live in this area, I think, so they show up to all the Survivor stuff. I'm sure Izzy's gonna be there. It's possible that Sari might be there. I don't know. That's when I first met Sari, was at a Survivor event. Well, I say first met her, like I met her on multiple occasions. The only time I met her. That Leah stuff was all cap, right? I don't know. I think I saw it early this morning, and then I was like looking around for more stuff about it, but I don't know if it's cap or not, but we'll see. See, my ETA said 7:36. Oh, Jag is everywhere. Well, Jag doesn't come to Survivor stuff, so he's not there. Actually, Jag, I know that Jag's not there because Jag is in Florida right now at another reality TV event. Jag has probably made the most appearances of any Big Brother winner ever. Anytime I see any kind of reality TV gathering, Jag is in there. He's as dominant in the off season as he was during the season. Dominant and strategic. Maybe he's like, this first year after winning, I'm trying to do as much as I can to maximize my 15 minutes of fame. Stretch it as much as I can. What are we now? 7 o'clock. So I allegedly have 44 minutes until I get there, but it's not looking good with this traffic. It is not looking good. The reason why it's not looking good is if I could get there and it's a 7:44, I would say I might still be able to get in. But the thing is, I also am driving, so finding a parking spot also becomes a significant factor. Half an hour. Going on half an hour of fame. He's dragging it. He's dragging it. But I mean, hey, if he's getting appearance fees, which I don't always think that he is, but good for him if he is. I was waiting. When I saw him, I was just waiting to drop that line. I was like, congratulations to the most dominant and strategic Big Brother player of all time. He kind of smirked a little bit. I thought he was going to laugh at that, but he didn't really laugh when I said it. And I was all prepared for him to think that was really funny. Like, this is your line that I'm using, sir. Why are you not laughing at your own line? I did my research on you. He was like, I think I said something else that made him laugh, but it was nothing related to the show. That was pretty cool to get him on my live, though. Him and Matt. Matt was like, "Sorry, I sucked, guys." that was hilarious. Sorry, I sucked. And I was like, "You did." Well, you still got 75,000 out of it, so kudos to you. 75,000 for 90 days of work, not bad. Not bad. He spent weeks on that speech. All of your blood is on my hands. Sari hated that speech. Because I remember when I saw her and I asked her, I was like, what are your feelings on Jag now? And she said something like, I thought Jag was such a nice, sweet dude when I met him in the early parts of the season. She said, I loved Jag. She said, I used to look at Jag like another son, basically. And then she said, later on in the season, he became so arrogant that it was just a huge turnoff for him as a person. So she was like, no, she said it was like, she was like, if we got to the end, she said, I would have voted for anyone over Jag. She said, I would have voted for Bowie Jane over Jag. She said, if Mickey Mouse sat down in one of those two seats and was sitting next to Jag, Mickey Mouse would have my vote. I was like, wow, that's deep. I really genuinely think that basically out of that cast, she just messes with Izzy and her son. I think I have seen her. I think I saw her with Matt one time, and I might have seen her with Corey in America once, but she does not generally seem to mess with the cast. Jag made Matt pick up the book. He probably did. He probably pulled an indie. For those who don't know what pulling an indie is, you might not remember because she was not super memorable, but Indy from Big Brother season 24. Indy from Big Brother season 24. I saw her. That was my first Big Brother event that I had ever gone to. The Big Brother season 24 finale party. And so it was just cool for me to be in that room. Everybody was so excited about Taylor. To this day, out of all the Big Brother things that I've gone to, nobody had as big of a reaction for anyone as they did for Taylor. I told you guys the reaction for Tucker in that small room that we went to on the rooftop was quite big. But when I say that people were excited for Taylor, I mean screaming, crying. It was like we were in there and we were going in there to see Michael Jackson or something. It was crazy. Pandemonium. But anyways, I say all that to say, I met Taylor, I met the cast, I met everybody, most of the people from the BB24 cast, and some of the people from the BB23 cast, and a few people from other casts. But Indy, I wasn't some huge Indy fan. I did reach out and ask her for an interview. Y'all know how that story went. But I was not some huge Indy fan is my point. I was kind of indifferent towards her. So at the end of the night, I was close to leaving. These things run from like, let's say 6 o'clock in the evening till about 1 to 2 in the morning. But the cast only stays for sure during the actual airing of the episode, which is usually like, I think 8 to 10, something like that. So a lot of the cast breaks out of there at 11, 10, 11, goes to their own after parties or does whatever they want to do, explore the city, whatever the case is, right? So Indy was one of the few people that was still there. And a lot of the crowd was gone, and a lot of the cast was gone. So at the end of the night, I saw her over sitting by the bar, and I wasn't like, oh, I got to go talk to Indy. It was just more like, well, Indy is over there. And I'm still here, so I might as well say something to her before I go. So I go over there. I don't even remember what I said. I must have just been making small talk. Oh yeah, I watched you on season 24 or whatever. I probably was like, asked her. I think I asked her something about. I think I might have asked her about her bikinis, because she had said something on her live about how she brought a whole wardrobe of bikinis, and then when she got to Big Brother, they confiscated all of them and said you can't wear these on TV. So I think I said something about that, and she was just like, ha. She's like, oh yeah, I wanted to. She's like, I wanted to show them, show my body. I wanted America to get a treat, or what. However she said it, I'm not gonna remember that now. But that's the gist of the conversation that we had, and then took a picture with her, and then I was about. She left, and then I was about to leave the bar. And then I looked at the tab, and I was like, "What is?" I told the bartender, I was like, "I think you made a mistake." She was like, "No, this is yours, and this is her. This is for her." I was like, "What do you mean this is for her?" She said, "Oh yeah, it's that lady over there," because she didn't know who Indy was either. Well, I shouldn't say either. I knew who Indy was. But she was like, yeah, that lady over there said that you were covering her bill. I was like, when did I say that I was covering her bill? Oh, that's what she said when she walked away. I was like, you slick mother. And actually, because I'm friendly with Amira from that same season, I remember I told Amira that, and she was like, that is so funny. Amira is friends with her. She was like, that is funny as hell. She probably told her about that. But I was like, how dare this lady? Just because I came over and said hi and spoke to you for 2 minutes, don't assume that you're going to get a drink from me. Who do you think you are? Marilyn Monroe? It doesn't even have to be a name like Marilyn Monroe, but like, I'm sure that fans buy her drinks. I mean, I've seen plenty of that happening at events, and I've even done so myself, but not for the same purposes as the other fans. Like, to be quite honest, some people who come to those events are groupies. There's no other way around me saying that, but sometimes I will do it mainly for the purpose of, like, I'm networking while I'm in there. So I'm like, okay, been talking to this person for a while. This is gonna help keep the conversation going, and maybe I can transition that person into talking about collaborating on my page, even though it never works. I gotta admit, I have been to so many events, and the only people that I have ever gotten to interview with me based on me talking to them at an event is just Hannah Chatta and Turner. I think those are the only two that I have met in person, and Sam. But Sam was a little different because Sam's a different person, and the event that I met her at, that I asked her to do the interview for, was not a circle event. It was just a regular event in a regular bar, and going to talk to her was like, you get 195 West. You get her individual attention, or I got her individual attention because of the fact that I don't think that many people in there actually even knew who she was when I went there. So that was a different scenario than going to an actual fan event where you have fans competing and vying for people's attention. But y'all see now I have better strategies than buying them a drink to be able to get their attention, because I didn't buy Cara a drink. I didn't buy CT a drink. I didn't buy any of these other people a drink. I didn't do anything to get CT's attention, actually. Oh, I did tell him something that ended up making it a moment, which was the person behind me in line said that she wanted CT to pick her up, and I said that to him, and then he did it. That was pretty cool. That was pretty funny. It's Thursday? No, it's Wednesday today, but when Thursday comes around, I gotta queue up that footage and post it. Okay, so my ETA went down. It was 7:46. Now it is down to 7:37. So it is back to being a possibility that I can make the show. I'm actually wanting to make the show at this point because it sucks getting up early and doing these drives, because I considered shutting off my alarm and just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna sleep in today and then accomplish things around the house. But then I was like, you know what, it's been a long time since I have been at one of these shows. It's been a long time since I've really even done anything for my personal enjoyment. All I do is just work and come home, work and come home, work and come home. So I like things that break up the monotony of my regular routine. So I am really hoping that I do get to sneak in there. And it doesn't matter if I get in there first or if I get in there last. I'm sure they have a seat for me front and center. The only two times that has not happened in that I went on a couple of months ago, I didn't even watch that episode, because where they had me seated, you get to know where the cameras are in the studio, and you get to see whether you're actually on the camera or not. And I just knew that I was not on the camera, so I didn't have an interest. I only rewatch these shows if I know that I am going to be seen on there, because I'm like, why else am I going to rewatch it? I already saw it. Unless it was something that was just really fun or inspirational or something. But for the most part, one and done. Once I see it, I'm good with it. I tell people, sometimes when I go, they're surprised that a man comes to these shows, because the studios are usually predominantly women, and the men that only come there with their significant others. Usually, like, enough. I enjoy my time in the studio because I get to meet new people. A lot of the people that come to these shows are from out of town. You know, they're like, oh, I'm coming from Germany. I'm here from Switzerland. You know, I'm here from Tokyo, Japan. And they're like, where are you here from? I'm like, well, I live here. Sometimes I think that I should make up a story. Like, yeah, you know, I just got off the plane. I came in here from South Africa, and I'm leaving out tomorrow. Because then when they get those people that are from far, they'll be like, South Africa in the building. And then those people will get a special invite to come down the stairs and meet the whoever the guests, meet whoever the hosts are, take pictures with them, etc. Especially Sherry. I think I have never gotten a picture with Sherry Shepherd because of that. She only meets people that are from far away, or people that they identify that have stood in line for a while to get in, or people who are huge participants in the audience games that they do in between, people that stand out, I'm not really a standout when it comes to those. I stand out in terms of the way that I put together the presentation, but I'm not really like super loud or animated in the studio, so it is what it is. I'll be there. I'll be there. Just call my name. I'll be there. Yeah, so depending on how fast I can get a parking spot and also how big the line happens to be, we'll see if I can get in. If I get in, y'all better tune in. I have honestly never watched the Kelly and Mark show in my life. I looked at a couple of clips, but it's the same way I had never seen the Tamron Hall show. I had never seen the Sherri Shepherd show. I went to the Wendy Williams show, but Wendy Williams was not hosting anymore at that time. Which other one? Which other first time show? I mean, the Nick Cannon show. That was cool. I actually enjoyed that show. Sometimes I would even watch that show when I was not in the studio, and that's not the same for any of the other shows. None of the other shows that I watch outside. Oh, now we got 7:35. What is up? The traffic is decreasing. I don't know what's going on. Oh. It's still a little bit of a long shot, to be honest with y'all. Still a bit of a long shot, I want to say. Oh, but I'm gonna try my best. I'll be there. Yeah, but like I was saying, y'all better tune into the show. I don't even know what time it starts. 11 to 12 or something like that. But if not, y'all know that I'm gonna capture the tape. Did they replay that show? Shoot, man. Normally I'm on point with recording, but now the Spectrum app, I don't think I'm logged in on my phone anymore, so good luck. I'll tune in. I'm gonna have to act wild and crazy to get on this one, because I think that I looked at like some clips of an episode yesterday night, and I was like, they really don't show the audience too much in this one, so I might have to jump up and down and scream, "Mindful reality!" That might get me on, or that might get me kicked off. But either way, I'll make a name for myself, right? A part of me always comes in there and feels like, I wish they would just be like, hey, you, I want to feature you. I want you to actually be a part of the show. Like, I want to ask you some questions. Some shows, they do that before the show. They're like, hey, does anybody have a story about how you and your best friend were friends at one time, and then you had an argument where you stopped speaking for a year and then you started speaking again? Or they'll be like, does anyone have a story? Does anyone want to participate in a game? When those things happen, you got to be super extra to be selected, because they're not just like, yeah, I'm raising my hand. They're like, yeah, oh my God, yeah, me and my friend got in a fist fight. And then they'll be jumping up and down and screaming and stuff. And I'm like, I can't even compete with that. I would have to commit to doing that. To be honest with you, this is the only way that would happen. If me and a friend come to one of these together and my friend is like loud and outrageous or something, and beforehand we come up with something and act it out. Like if they happen to ask for this kind of thing, all right, me and you have this story lined up, and you lead and I'll follow. Like you start acting extra and I will do my best. But any one of these things, if I'm here by myself, and yeah, I'm here by myself and they're asking for the most like loud extra person to put on the show, it's just not gonna happen because I'm not loud or extra. I can be loud, but see, what are you doing right now at this point? Yeah, I can be loud in the context of in places where I'm supposed to be quiet, but I'm not loud in a room full of loud people. I think Hannah told me the same thing. She was like, I'm never gonna be the loudest person in the room. When I was interviewing her, she was like, I'm never gonna be the loudest person in the room. But they appreciated, whatever I bring to the table. Okay, so where are we here? Where are we here? We got, what time is it? 7:24. And my GPS is telling me 7:35 ETA. And like I said, check-in stops at 8. So I'm crossing my fingers because I actually did not think there was any chance because my GPS kept going up. It was like 7:30, it said 7:25, then it said 7:37, and then it said 7:49, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be in the car, get here, and turn back around and go back home. But 7:35, and then if I can find a parking spot and get to that line within 5 minutes, and it's like 7:40 when I get there, it's a chance. I have a decent chance. If it wasn't the holiday season, I would say I'm fairly likely to be able to get this done. But what scares me is it being December and a lot of people from out of town come here in December, and those people like to go to shows. So that's the only thing I'm a bit concerned about. However, I'm going to keep a positive attitude, and I'm going to keep my hopes up, and I'm going to see what's happening. Forgot my headphones. That sucks. I was like, what is this person flashing their lights about? But I realize it now. Are you going to go, or are you going to sit there and chill? Okay. East 66th Street. We are almost here. East 66th Street. Okay, so I didn't realize that I guess the Mark and Kelly show is filmed in the same building as, who's in there? Tamron Hall and The View. But I think I heard The View has moved to another location. But The View was filmed in that building for a number of years. But Tamron Hall. So I've been in that building several times because I think I was at The View twice. And I may have been at the Tamron Hall show about 5 times, 6 times. And the funny thing about the Tamron Hall show, I was part of a viral clip, even though I wasn't in the episode like that. I'm not trying to say that, but it was like a clip that went viral of Alfonso Ribeiro, the guy who was on Carlton, the guy who was Carlton on Fresh Prince. It was a clip of him talking when he was on the Tamron Hall show, because I was at that episode, and me and my sister ended up being on this viral clip that circulated around, millions of views, and people still, to this day, send me messages with pictures of me, like, hey, was that you? I saw this clip on the internet, and this looks like you. It's not you. It looks like it's someone who looks just like you. And I'm like, no, it's me. I wish you recognizing me and spotting me did something for me aside from, being cool. But yeah, that's it. So I think I'm gonna hop off here from now, and I'll let you guys know, of course, if I make it in. If not, you might see me back on here soon to tell you that I didn't get in. So you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks for joining me on my ride, and we'll see what happens from here.